I've been doing the VR YouTube thing for about 2.5 years now, and in all that time with all my videos produced, I've really only been able to convince 2 people in my real life to actually buy a headset. So today I'm taking a bit of a different approach, as outside of motion sickness and the perceived lack of games, the biggest hindrance that I've experienced when trying to onboard new users is the notion that the graphics simply can't hold up to the current gen graphics afforded by flat games, and well, that simply isn't the case. Welcome to the simulation inside the simulation. I am Tooodamngolden, your VR Voyager, and today's video is for all of you graphics whores out there, as today we'll be taking a look at the 10 most photorealistic games available right now. So starting today's countdown at number 10 is a title that was adored for its visual performance, albeit with some pretty mundane gameplay, as Hubris is one of the most visually stunning titles VR has seen to date, particularly when we are talking about the PSVR 2 and PC VR versions of this one. And while I have many thoughts about the wasted potential behind this one, today's video is all about those amazing graphics, and in that regard, Hubris does not disappoint, guys, with some of the space's best use of dynamic lighting techniques to date, and very much has the feel of a sci-fi movie that you have been thrust right into the middle of. Everything in Hubris is shiny, colorful, and super high res, from alien landscapes to sleek space station interiors, and surprisingly good optimization to boot, as this Unreal Engine build excursion is one of the best looking sci-fi environments in VR, hands down. From the glossy metallic surfaces to the sun-drenched alien terrain, every inch of this world feels like it's been polished for a tech showcase, and some would argue that's exactly what Hubris actually is. And sure, some of the character models have a slightly waxy mannequin look to them, but when the world around you is this detailed, it is still very easy to get swept up in the atmosphere. Hubris is a visual statement, a game designed to really showcase what VR can look like when you push the hardware to its limits, and for that reason alone, it is locked in at number 10 on today's countdown. So in at number 9 is a title that truthfully is probably more of a VR tech demo than an actual game, but make no mistake of it, Subside VR might just be one of the most peaceful jaw droppers you can experience in a headset. There's no combat, no crafting, no chaos, just you, the ocean floor, and a whole lot of mood. The visuals in this one are all about the atmospheres. You'll find yourself surrounded by glowing bioluminescent light forms, rays of light filtering through shifting water, and deep sea terrain that feels both alien yet oddly serene. It's the kind of visual design that doesn't scream for your attention, but instead it pulls you in quietly and completely, as everything from the color grading to the particle effects is tuned to make you feel weightless, immersed, and slightly in awe. Now, gameplay wise, as I stated before, there's not really much to get to it, but Subside VR is a perfect reminder that sometimes the best graphics aren't the loudest, but the most believable, and this one is definitely amazing in that regard. Now, at number 8, we have Horizon Call of the Mountain, and you can say what you want about Call of the Mountain's pacing or story, but when it comes to the graphic, this game goes full AAA blockbuster, as from the moment you step into that world, you are surrounded by dense forests, towering machines, and sunrises that feel like they're melting through your lenses. The lighting is some of the best in VR, with volumetric fog drifting between tree branches and god rays that actually feel earned, and character models are detailed down to the facial pores and braided hair, and the sense of scale when a tall neck lumbers past. It's really kind of the moment that sells VR to a first timer almost instantly. Not to mention, guys, that this one has some of the best open world landscapes that the medium currently has to offer. And while Horizon Call of the Mountain may be a spin-off, graphically it definitely punches at mainline AAA levels and then some, and this one is definitely well deserving of its place at number 8 on today's countdown. So in at number 7 is a title that proves that space has never looked this majestic, as Elite Dangerous in VR takes the cold vacuum of space and turns it into a galaxy-sized screensaver that you can absolutely find yourself lost in. Now, let me just say, this one isn't about busy environments per se, it's about the scale and detail of the galaxy at large. Planets with swirling clouds and visible atmospheres, stars that glare and flicker with heat, and space stations that rotate with hypnotic realism, not to mention flying into the orbit of a gas giant while watching solar flares dance in the distance. That's the kind of things that makes you pause and just exist in the world for just a moment. The cockpit detail also is top tier, from the shimmer of glass reflections to the way the light from nearby stars actually illuminate your dashboard. Elite Dangerous doesn't just simulate a galaxy, it points it in a way that feels absolutely breathtaking. And if you are looking for the most realistic space exploration experience, then Elite Dangerous is a must play for all of you graphic fiends out there in the void. So our next game at number 6 is a familiar face to the channel and should not be a surprise to see here, as Red Matter 2 is a masterclass in not only optimization of a title, but for visual fidelity as well. As honestly, Red Matter 2 looks like someone dropped a high-end cinematic art book into a VR headset, as this game takes retro futurism and polish it to an absolute mirror sheen. Every surface, whether it's glossy sci-fi metal, frosted glass, or weathered concrete, is rendered with stunning clarity. Reflections are subtle but sharp, and the lighting is so natural that it makes you feel like the world is living and breathing with you guys. Hell, even the UI elements like your wrist computer feel like they're physically there, making this one not only one of the most visually impressive VR titles to date, but one of the most immersive ones as well. The environments in Red Matter 2 are packed with small details all around, wires, signs, subtle wear and tear that's all grounded in a believable, lived-in world. And then there's the color grading, which is my personal favorite part about this game. Whether it's the muted reds, the sterile blues, or the warm yellows abound, every palette shift tells a complete story in this one without uttering a word. Simply put, Red Matter 2 is one of the most visually polished games in VR, and it's definitely deserving of its place at number 6 on today's countdown. So we are taking a dive into our top 5 picks today, and in at number 5 is the remarkably produced Resident Evil 4 remake for the PSVR 2, and this one takes an already gorgeous game and straps it directly to your face, and the result is a visual experience that's equal parts stunning and terrifying. Textures in this game are absurdly detailed, whether it's the cracked wood, moldy walls, and blood-slick floors that all look disturbingly real. Lighting is masterfully used for tension, whether we're talking about the flickering lanterns, moonlit graveyards, or the perfect balance of darkness when you're not quite sure what's lurking just around the corner. And the Resident Evil 4 remake does a fantastic job of blending both mood and stunning visuals to create an ever more immersive environment, as the enemies are grotesque in all the right ways, and the animations, especially during those close encounters, sell the weight and horror of the situation. And let's not ignore just how clean this looks while running smoothly in VR, as we all know out there that this is no small feat at all. And if you have a PSVR 2 and have not picked this one up, then honestly, what the hell are you even doing then? Zooming in at number 4, we are shifting gears from zombie-infested villages to the high-stake raceways found around the world, as Gran Turismo 7 in VR is all about one simple thing: precision. Every car, every track, every weather effect is delivered with such visual fidelity that you might just start checking your rearview mirror in real life. And the impressive visuals don't just stop there, as the cars in this one are showroom perfect. Paint gleams, fully rendered interiors, and reflections that dance across the dashboard as the sun shifts all come together to make this one an absolute visual showcase. Weather effects like rain beating on your windshield are genuinely next level, and don't get me started on the night drive with headlights that cut through the fog in a way that feels eerily authentic. But to me guys, what pushes this game so high up on the list isn't just the graphics, it's how seamlessly it all runs together. Despite the detail, everything remains smooth, immersive, and incredibly convincing at high speed all the way throughout, as Gran Turismo 7 is not just a racer in VR, it is a full-blown driving simulator with a visual engine to match. So the most surprising thing about our number 3 entry, HalfLife Alyx, is probably that it isn't higher on today's countdown, but folks, let's be real, HalfLife Alyx definitely set the bar when it launched, and honestly, it's still standing tall, as this game isn't just pretty, it's purposefully beautiful. Every object in HalfLife Alyx definitely looks like it belongs, whether it's the world's grimy walls, flickering lights, or the debris-filled streets, it all feels like a lived-in, yet decaying city. The lighting is surgical, flashlights cast accurate shadows, sunlight filters in through broken boards, and every flicker from from a combine scanner certainly feels threatening, and that adds to the overall immersion of the title. But what definitely sets HalfLife Alyx apart is how interactive the world is while looking this good. You can pick up a marker and draw on a window, you can sift through drawers, and none of it breaks the illusion. And the fatigue surrounding this game and its coverage in VR makes you forget just how rare it is to find a game this detailed where you can actually interact with everything. Guys, this is still one of, if not the crown jewel of VR, and graphically it hasn't aged a day. Full disclosure, the game at number 2, Kayak VR, might just be the most relaxing photorealism that you'll ever experience, and also the only time where sweating in a headset still feels somehow supremely calming. As Kayak VR is a visual masterclass in environmental design, with every location from the icy cliffs of Antarctica to the neon lit canals of Nighttime City looking like a real place you could book a flight to. The water physics in Kayak VR are absurd, and I mean absolutely absurd, guys. We're talking about perfect simulation of water rippling on impact, glistening sunlight, and mirror smooth brilliance associated with this one. Not to mention, the lighting is on an entirely different level, with sunrise hitting the water like liquid gold and subtle wind effects rustling the surrounding foliage in a way that makes the world truly feel alive with you. Even the reflections of the clouds shifting above you are jaw-droppingly flawless. And Kayak VR is one of the few VR games where you might find yourself just pausing for a bit, looking around, and taking a moment to just really soak it all in. As once again, we find a technical and artistic achievement for the space, and the funniest thing is, it's not even trying to be loud about it. So at number 1, there's realism, and then there's Microsoft Flight Simulator, and this is the holy grail of photorealistic VR, and nothing else even comes close. We're talking satellite mapped Earth, real world weather systems, time of day lighting, and full scale global rendering, where you will find yourself flying over your hometown and actually recognizing various buildings, roads, and landmarks in a remarkably surreal experience. Clouds have volume, sunlight breaks through storms dynamically, cities light up at night in believable patterns, and inside the cockpit, every dial, switch, and shadow is recreated with obsessive attention to detail. Yes, you need a behemoth of a rig to run this one at its best, but when it works, guys, it's untouchable. This isn't just a game, it really is a technical marvel, and it's well deserving of its place atop the list of VR's most photorealistic experiences. Just like you are well deserving of some more amazing VR content, so try clicking one of these videos on screen now. YouTube says you'll like it.